Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I want to take you guys through how to cut and sew a female trouser with pockets. So in my last tutorial I showed you guys how to draft a female trouser pattern. So this is the part 2 of that tutorial. In this one I'll be showing you guys how to sew everything together. So this is the pattern I drafted last week. I suggest you go ahead and watch that video first before continuing with this, because the main thing is in drafting the pattern. This one is just to join all the pieces together. So I'm gonna have to cut everything out. Okay, so this is the back of the trouser here, and this is the front of the trouser with the zip allowance. So when I drafted this pattern last week, I already added all of the seam allowance all round, including for the pocket area. But then before I was about to cut this, my client was like, okay, she wants the trouser to be a bit more free on her body and have elastic at the waistline. So I had to add to the seams here and to the side of the trouser. I just added half of an inch. So that's what I just did. I just feel like I should give you guys an update. But if you watched the last tutorial, you know that I already added all of the seam allowance on the paper. So you just go ahead and cut it direct and ignore all of this seam allowance I added. So guys, this is very simple and straightforward. The first we're going to be focusing on is on the front pattern. Okay, so I'm going to fold this up and keep. Now I'm going to focus on the front. So guys, this is the pocket that will be used for the front. The pocket is into 2 pieces here, and you guys will see very soon how I'm going to merge everything together to form the pocket. So mind you, everything has been cut on fold. You know, for the front you will need 2 pieces, so which means that for the pockets this is in 2 pieces, this is 2 pieces as well, and then the back is also cut on fold, so 1 for each leg. Okay, so guys, the first thing I'm just going to do is to take off all of the pins, and we're just going to move straight into the sewing process. So the first thing that will need to be done is to fix the pocket to the front trouser. After fixing the pocket, then the next thing to do will be to just join the front and the back together, attach the zip, and also fix the band. Okay, so guys, if you intend to take in the darts, now is the time to notch the dart point. But since my client wants it to be an elastic waist, I won't be taking in the dart at all. I'll just put in an elastic and everything will come together. Okay, so I'm not taking in the darts, but if you want to do that, kindly notch the dart points now before removing the pattern paper. So I'm just going to keep this one aside and then remove the front trouser pattern. Okay, so this is the pattern already removed. The seam allowance here is just 1.5 inch. Okay, so you can see the bulge here. So guys, this is the front piece. This is why it is important to cut on fold. This is why it's important to cut on fold. That's where you won't mix anything up. Okay, so these are the 2 front pieces here. Let me just focus on this first piece. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is to do the pocket, right? And this pocket is into 2, like I said earlier. So to be able to do this, first of all, this first piece here, the purpose of this first piece is to complete the trouser pattern back to its original state. That is the purpose of this first piece. Okay, then this second piece here with this opening, its purpose is to use it to hem the rough edges of this side of the pocket so that this side will be neat. So this one, you have to make sure that it's the right side that is showing. So the appropriate one for this is this side. So for this side, you are going to be facing right sides together. Face right sides together. At least with this fabric, it's easy to know the right and the wrong side, okay, because this side is obviously lighter. You're going to go ahead and stitch this side down. After stitching it down, then you can just place this one the way it is and sew it round. Okay, you can just stitch it down the way it is and then hem the rough edge, or you face it this way and stitch it down. Face right sides together and stitch it down, and then turn it so the rough edge will be inside. I think I just prefer to stitch it down the way it is so that the rough edge will not be showing on the pocket. So guys, first things first is to pin these two sides down. After fixing the pocket, the rest is very simple, okay, very easy. What makes a trouser difficult is actually just drafting the pattern, and I'm very sure that if any of you watched the tutorial to the end, that my pattern drafting tutorial, that you will be able to sew yours. So guys, after pinning down this first side, I will just come and place this other one underneath and pin from here so after pinning it, by the time I flip it over, I will have something like this. So it won't really show now until I sew it down. So I'm going to have something like this, and you can see that with this, the pocket area is showing while the trouser is also looking complete, right? So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and stitch this side first. Let me move this closer. Stitch this one first, the first piece to this one, and then I'll stitch this. So when I'm stitching, I'll stitch only this curved area, okay, just these two sides. I won't stitch down this side because it will align with this place. So when I'm closing up the trouser, it will close up. I won't stitch the top here because it will align with this place. So when I fix the band, it will close up. So guys, now it's time to stitch it down. Please follow along so that you get what I'm doing here. I'm using 1/2 inch to stitch it, which is the same allowance I added on the pattern. So this is it. This is the first part already done. Now you can see the importance, right? It made this place to look very neat. So some people usually spread it out and then top stitch exactly on the line, but I feel like that's not necessary. Just iron it very well and you're good to go, okay? Unless if you want it to be like a style, then you can also fold it in and then just stitch on the edge here. So now the next thing to do is to join this facing for the pocket, this piece here that I just stitched, with the other one that will complete the trouser, okay? So remember I said I want this to be an outer stitch so that the pocket will be very neat inside, so all of these rough edges will be hemmed. I'm going to come and stitch. Okay, so this is the pocket. You can see that it is very easy to do, okay? This is what this is looking like now. I'll just go ahead and iron everything out. This is the back. This is what the back looks like. You can see that the rough edges outside. I can just easily hem this later. And now the inside of the pocket is neat, okay? So remember I said I'm not stitching down this side because this is going to align with the side of the trouser. By the time I close up the sides of the trouser, it will automatically close up, and then this upper part too is going to align with this place, so when I attach the band it will close up. So this is the trouser pocket here. I'm going to go ahead and stitch the other one. I'm going to first of all join the pockets together so that you all can still, you know, get the logic. If you don't understand the first method, you will at least understand this one. So for this, you face right sides together and you will only stitch this curved place. Okay, so the upper part you won't stitch, and the place that is in where the pocket will be opened up, you also will not stitch that place. Okay, I feel like this is more easy and straightforward for beginners. So what's next to do is to just bring these two together and then face the pocket. So after facing the pocket, this is what you will have. You can see that this method is even easier than the first one. So the first method, I first of all faced the pocket. If you don't know what facing is basically when you use another piece of fabric to hem the rough edge of maybe a neckline, armhole, or whatever, by cutting another piece of fabric to match exactly with where you want to hem. You face right side together and stitch down this rough edge. So when you flip it over, you have something neat. So that is what facing is. Okay. So now I'm going to remove the pin. And then just flip it. After flipping it, you can see what it is looking like. The pocket is set already. So what I just have to do now is iron it. Can you guys see that? Very easy, very easy. So if you have been having issues with this, or you have been wondering how to do this, then I'm happy for you because you just figured it out and you have realized that it's actually easy to do. So guys, this is it for the pockets. I'm going to iron it down, and then the next thing to do will be to join the front and the back of the trouser together. Hey guys, so I've gone ahead to iron the pocket. You can see it's laying very flat, so you guys can see the results, right? The inner part of the pocket is very neat. This is completely neat, and this has closed off the raw edge here while also giving space for an opening. So this is the pocket here. Okay, so guys, the next thing to do now is to join the front and the back of the trouser together. So there are many ways to do this. Some people like to join the two front pieces together and then join the two back pieces together before joining them, but it is easier to join the front and the back individually. So what I'm going to do is to just remove this piece as well. So guys, if you are adding the dart, now is the time to take in the dart. Remember I said you should notch the dart point before separating the pattern, don't forget that. But since an elastic is going to be added, I won't need to take in any dart at the waist. I'll just go straight to joining the both sides instead. So of course, when you want to join, you're going to be facing right sides together. So I'm just going to set this piece aside, and of course whatever I explained for this, just know I'm going to do it for the other one off camera. So you're going to face right sides together. The crotch for both the back and the front should meet. So this is the crotch area here. You can see the amount of space, the ample amount of space given here, right? That's what you want yours to look like. So I'm going to start by joining the sides. Just pin everything down before sewing to make sure that it stays in place. So you can see that I'm pinning the pockets along with the back of the trouser. I'm pinning everything together to make sure that the pocket stays flat. So there's no reason why the front and the back of the pattern shouldn't be equal, unless you made a mistake when drafting. And if I thought there is any difference, it shouldn't be more than half an inch. 1 inch is even a stress, but 1 inch can still be, let me say, partially accepted, okay? But I feel like 1 inch is even a stretch. So you just have to carefully pin this. So you can see that I went ahead to pin this side before I continue, because if I had continued stitching, if I had continued pinning it down, this one would have ended up being slightly longer, okay? So sometimes you just have to apply that technique and then ease in any excess. If the excess is not too much, you'll be able to blend everything back in. As you can see, I was able to do it all without having any issue. So I'm also going to pin this side. Now this side is going to be tricky because you can see that this place is looking like it's longer than this for the front. This is the front, this is the back, but it is actually going to align. You just have to strategically pin this place down before joining, okay? And also make sure you're not stretching out one more than the other. So you just have to carefully do this, okay? This place is very important that you pin before joining because the curve is different, so it will need a little bit extra effort to fit in. So after making sure that all of the curve have been done properly, you will now come to the end here and start pinning. If you don't do it that way, there's a chance that one might end up looking longer than the other. That is because you did not pin it the right way. After pinning it now, I'll just go ahead and stitch it down. The seam allowance that I added is 1 inch, but I'm going to be using 0.75 just to also add to the volume of the trouser, since my mom, who is also my client, wants this to be more bogus on her body. So I'll just use 0.75 inch here and 0.75 inch on this other side as well. So come with me, let's do this. I'm going to do the other one off camera, but this one, I think it's only fair I let you guys just watch it. So you can go ahead and measure out the seam allowance if you want, but for me, I'm just going to do this freehand. Okay, so this side has been done. You can see that that didn't take time at all. Now I'll flip over to the other side and stitch as well. So guys, you can see that I've gone ahead to stitch it down. I'll do the other one off camera and then show you guys what it looks like. So guys, I've gone ahead to join the two pieces together. This is the first one already. As you can see, I've turned the right side, and this is the other one. This is what it looks like. I'm just going to flip over to the right side of the fabric. So this is the front for the both sides, okay? This here is the zip allowance. So guys, now that this has been done, the next thing to do is to join the both legs together. To do this, I'm going to open up this one and then open up the other one. Make sure that the front is facing each other and the back is facing each other. So I'll just open it up, and then this joining for both sides, which is the middle point, I will pin it together so that it will align after I'm done joining. Okay, and then I'm going to join the back completely. So I'll just use a pin okay. For this front, I'm going to stop somewhere around here, so just right before the zip allowance. Okay, that is where I'm going to stop because the zip will be completing the rest of the front here. For this crotch area, it is only half of an inch seam allowance I added, so that is what I'll be using to join. So I'm just going to go ahead and complete this back part. First of all, close up this place completely and then ease everything in. So I'll go ahead and stitch it down, stitch everywhere using the half an inch seam allowance. Once I'm done stitching, I should have something like this. So when I want to sew this down, I'll start from the front and move to the back. This is the front here. Remember I said that I'll stop right before the zip allowance. Okay, so at the same point that the zip allowance stopped, that is where I will start sewing from. So this seam allowance here, you want to make sure that it is being spread out and it's not just facing one side. So I'm just going to open it. And continue. So guys, this is it here. As you can see, the trouser is already starting to come together. So the next thing I want to do now is fix the zip. So remember, it is 1.5 inch, that is the seam allowance here. Okay, so you have to make sure that that is exactly what I am using. When you want to fix the zip, you want to make sure that you're using a skirt zip for this. So this is the zip I bought. This is the zip I bought, but I noticed that the space I left for the zip is long. It's longer than the zip itself. So I'm going to close up out of the zip allowance before fixing the zip. So this has an elastic waist, so the zip is not exactly compulsory, but I did not expand the waist enough for the elastic to be enough for putting on the trouser, if you get what I mean. So I still have to add a zip for my client to be able to put on the trouser easily. Plus, that is her preference. She wants it to have zip in the front, but she doesn't want it to be a fly zipper. I was really looking forward to teaching you guys how to make a fly zipper, but it won't be in this video because that is not what she wants. Okay, so maybe in another trouser tutorial I will do in the future, I'll show you guys how to make a fly zipper. So I've closed up part of the zip allowance, and with this the zip should be enough. Okay, yes, it is. The zip is enough. So guys, because this is for a trouser, there's a way I'm going to fix this zip, okay, in such a way that the zip won't be too obvious after doing. So I will simply just put the zip on it and then stitch down on the side of the Ankara. This is like the easiest way ever to fix a zip, and I'll just make this to start right from here since a band will be attached afterwards. So this way the zip will cover up after joining. So I'm just going to do it like this and pin it down. So I'll do it in such a way that the zip will be kind of underneath the Ankara. Can you guys see that? Let me move the fabric if you guys can't see. So this is very, very quick and easy. Very quick and easy. I also pin the other one to it. So with this, the zip is going to be, it's not going to be as obvious when I'm done. So just watch the way I'm doing it. So you can see that with the way I'm pinning this zip together, it is not showing. So it is covered up now. It is covered up properly. Can you see? It's just this side that is showing because it is the zip head. So that is normal. So what I'm going to do, I think it will be easier to stitch it from the back. This way I'm sure that I'm not going to sew on the zip. Okay? So I'm just going to skip this zip head area first and then come back to it after stitching down the rest of the zip. So guys, this is what the zip looks like. You can see what I was trying to explain. So the zip right now is covered up. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to fix the band and hem the trouser. So what I want to do first is to just hem the rough edge of the trouser. Remember that it says 2-inch seam allowance I used as a hemming allowance. So what I'm going to do, I'll fold in half of an inch and then raise it by 1.5 inch. Okay, you can just decide to measure this side to get something very accurate. So you can see that making this trouser is not even time consuming at all. So this is half of an inch. You know what, let me make it 0.75. I think 1.5 inch is a bit much. So I'm going to use 0.75 and then raise it by 1.25 inch. And by doing that, I have taken off the 2-inch seam allowance and left the actual trouser length. So guys, I'm gonna ahead to pin everything down. So what I'm going to do now is to just stitch down on the edge. Stitch it. This is it here. I'll iron it out and it will look really nice after that. So guys, this is what the trouser is looking like so far. You can see the zip here already installed. This isn't exactly my favorite way of fixing a trouser zip, but I'm not the one putting it on, so I can't decide on that. Anyway, this is what the trouser is like right now. The final thing to do after hemming the trouser, okay, this is the trouser, is already hemmed at the edge here. So the final thing is to fix the band. So guys, there are two ways to fix a trouser band. Okay, actually there are many ways to fix a trouser band. The standard way is to cut the band for the front and the back separate, actually, because you can see that the waistline is a bit curved, so you can't cut a straight band and install. It won't work. It has to be curved, but that's not the method I'm following for this particular tutorial, because it is an elastic waist that's going to be installed here. For that reason, I can just cut a straight band all round and fix. So perhaps in another tutorial I will intentionally make that one with that curved band for tutorial's sake. So what I'm going to do is to just measure the roundness of the waist. What I have here is 50.4. Let me just say 50.5. That's what I have as the waist roundness. So I want the band to overlap. That's because I'm going to be installing a button, so the band will overlap this way and overlap this way as well. To be able to do that, I'll have to add an extra 1 inch or 1.5 inch, depending on how much I want the band to overlap. So I want the band to overlap by 1.5 inch. Okay, so it's going to overlap by 1.5 inch here and also overlap on the other side. That is a total of 3 inches. So 50, which is the waist, 50.5, which is the waist roundness, plus 3 inches, that is 53.5. Then the next thing I'm going to need is half of an inch allowance on both sides to hem the edge of the band before installing. So half inch here, half inch here, that is equal to 1 inch. So I'll need another 1 inch on top of that. So the 1 inch now plus 53.5, that is going to give me 54.5. So that is the total I need for the roundness of the band. And I want this band to be 2 inches wide, because that is what I took off from the trouser measurement when I was making it. So 2 inches wide, and it's going to be on fold. Afterwards, it's a straight band. So 2 inches on fold will give me 4. Okay, and then I'll need half of an inch on both sides to be able to attach the band to this. So half of an inch on both sides means I will need 2.5, and 2.5 on fold will give me 5. So I need to cut a fabric that is 5 inches wide, and then I will iron it on fold. I'm going to do this off camera. I'm going to iron it on fold and then fold in half of an inch on one side and also iron it in. After that, I'll iron the other one too with half of an inch. So you guys are going to see what it looks like when I'm done with it. So guys, this is the band here. I've gone ahead to iron it out. So this is it on fold. It is on fold right now, already ironed, and you can see what I mean. This is the half an inch allowance folded in. So this other side, I just placed it on top of the other and ironed it out. But if I just flip it, you'll see that these are the two sides that are ironed. Let's move on to sewing the trouser band. So I'm going to open up the zip and then just start from here. Remember I said I'm starting from the back. So I'll place the band like this. And then open it up. Remember it is on fold. So what I'm going to do is to first of all I'm going to measure out 2 inch. Remember I said I'm using half an inch to turn the rough edge, and then this is going to overlap by 1.5, which is the total of 2 inches. So I'm going to start after 2 inches. This place will be sorted out later. So what I'm going to do is open up this first part that I have done with 1/2 inch, and then I'll just start sewing it. So you're going to stitch this down like you would for a bias. Okay, so I'll stitch right on the crease line. So the pocket for the front, make sure that it is laying properly. Okay, so guys, the first part is done. So this is phase 1 of fixing the band for the trouser. Okay, so I noticed that the band is a little bit more than what I want it to be. Remember, I want this to be 2 inches, so I'm going to measure 2 inch and then trim off the excess. So it's not bad if the band is more than what you want. It's even better to have a little bit of excess than for the band to end up being shorter than the waistline. Okay, so guys, this is what I'm going to do now. Please watch what I'm doing. This is the first part already done. You can see. So this is going to come over to the front. This will come over to the front this way. I will just top stitch on the edge, but before I do that, I need to close up this place. So to do it, I'll make sure that the place I folded in with 1/2 inch remains folded in like that. Then I'll just turn it this way, facing right sides of the band together, and stitch it down with 1/2 inch. So this is what you want it to look like. You can see what it looks like after stitching. So I'll just fold it in like this, and by doing this, I have closed up the rough edge, and this place is still folded in, so I can just top stitch from here. I'll top stitch from here and just move into the trouser waist. I'm just going to do the same thing for this side before I start with that. And now I can go ahead and stitch. So I'll just hold this side down to make sure that it does not shift. While I'm closing this up, I'm going to add the elastic. You know that this doesn't go all round, so I can't close everything up without adding elastic to it first. This is the size of elastic that I'm going to be using. This is just equal to what I have here. Can you guys see? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that the elastic is enough. So you know it is an elastic, so you can't use that exact 41. It won't hold tight. So I'm going to just shorten this. So to add the elastic, I don't want the elastic to meet with this point here where the button is going to be. So I'm going to just stitch it to this side instead. So by doing this now, the elastic here is already secure. Then I'll come and do the same thing for the other side. Make sure that the elastic is not being twisted as you are doing this, so it won't give you issues later. So the elastic will also stop around here. And then I'll just stitch it down. So make sure that when you're stitching the elastic down, that the band is relaxing properly in the exact same way that you would fix it, so you don't have issues with that. If not, you have to lose and redo it. So I'm just going to start from here. And with this, the elastic has been attached on both sides. So what I'm going to do now is close up the band. I'm just going to start from here. And of course, I'll have to start from this tip here. So you have to make sure that the both of them are resting right on top of each other before stitching down this side that is not really attached to the trouser. So I'll just stop stitch on the edge. Okay, so guys, from here now, you have to be putting the elastic in, and make sure you are not stitching on the elastic. If not, it won't be able to stretch out. So make sure that the elastic is not on the stitch line. Okay, so you have to do this slowly, and then you just continue. So guys, this is what this is looking like so far. I noticed that I missed this place, so I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. But this is it. I'm going to go ahead and finish it up off camera and then show you. So guys, this is what the trouser is looking like after I'm done with it. So the next thing I have to do is to put a button here. So once I fix the button, the trouser is complete. I have to take this to a place to create the buttonhole and then also put the button. Okay, so this is what the trouser is looking like. I can't try it on because this is nowhere near my size at all. What I'm just going to do now is iron everything out. You can see what it is looking like. The pocket is there, everything is looking okay, even the zip is good. You can see it is covered up because of the way I fixed the zip. The overlapping here will help with fixing the button, and you can see the way this place is looking higher than the other. I'm still going to go ahead and trim off all those threads. Okay, that's because of the way I cut the front and the back. Can you guys see the waistline? See how the front is lower than the back. This is what you want your trouser to look like. If your trouser is not like this, then there's a very high chance that once you put it on, you won't like what it's going to look like when you sit, okay? Because it will be exposing you. So this is it. Once I fix the button, this place will relax properly. Thank you guys for watching this tutorial. If you have any questions, as usual, leave them in the comment section and I will make sure to respond to everybody. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.